Chapter 3 Adoptive Brothers Leave. Sonic's point of view. Frost and I were sitting under a tree, relaxing after defeating Eggman. For the 600th time already. When is that old man gonna realize that he's never going to win? Jeez! Anyways, Frost was right now asleep, and I was looking out at the meadow we had for a view. It was beautiful. I heard a soft groan behind me, so I turned around and found Frost waking up. When he was fully awake, he looked at me and smiled. "Hey bro, what do you say we go visit some of our friends?" he asked. I thought it for a moment and nodded with a smile. "I agree, brother, let's go." I took him by the hand, and with my speed, I sped across the woods while Frost was holding on to me with a joyful look. Of course he loves it when I give extremely fast rides. Even though he's not my actual brother, I didn't care. You see, his parents... Actually, I don't know what happened to his parents. He refused to talk about them, but he did say that my mother took him in when he was just a child, possibly around me and my siblings' age at that time. He and I were inseparable. Eventually, we were at Knuckles' Island. We already knew he would be guarding the Master Emerald. Frost's point of view. We arrived at Knuckles' Island because we knew today he would be guarding the Master Emerald. I know my brother and that red echidna don't quite get along easily, but I'm sure one day he'll stop acting so hot-headed. Stupid hedgehog, always getting all the glory. Our excitement was broken when we heard a voice mutter under their breath. It came from where Knuckles is. Quietly, I motioned my brother to follow my lead, and he nodded. Quietly, we tiptoed where the voice came from, and to our shock, it came from Knuckles. We listened quietly and careful not to make a single sound. "I mean, seriously, why does he get all the glory?" he asked angrily. "Just because he's the fastest and fights Eggman all the time, I could do so much better than he ever would." My ears went down in dislike, realizing he's talking about my brother. I looked to see my brother look surprised as well. We kept silent and continued listening, always caring about himself, and don't get me started on his cocky attitude. Wait a second. Sonic doesn't think about himself. Sure, he can, just a tiny bit, but not always, I thought in my head in shock. I felt something bubbling inside me, but Sonic kept me calm as possible by holding my wrist. I kind of feel sorry for his family, his brother, sisters, adoptive brother. Especially his mother. It's gotta suck for her having a son like him. Oh, he did not just go there. I turned to find Sonic in a state of shock. He looked like he was just stabbed in the heart, which it probably is. I swear, you mongrel mutt, if you say one more nasty thing about Sonic. Too late. He did. Well, there's one thing that blue idiot can do. It better be keep fighting Eggman. Because if he ever acts selfish and gives him his hero act, then I'll lose all respect for him. I'll make sure the whole world hates him too. Besides, the only reason they actually love him is because he's a hero. That did it. I snapped. Sonic's point of view. I was silently crying after what Knuckles had said. The world only loves me as a hero. I can't believe this. I was still crying when I noticed Frost's aqua blue fur turned dark and a dark aura surrounded him. His eyes had gone blank white. Oh no. Dark Frost. He lets out a growl that possibly got Knuckles' attention. Then he blasted an ice move at him. Quietly, I looked and saw Knuckles stuck onto the wall by a cold, frosty, sticky web. "How dare you say those things about my brother!" Dark Frost yelled in a dark voice. Knuckles looked at him, and it seems fear was slowly settling in his dark violet eyes. "Frost, how much did you hear?" Knuckles yelled. Frost growled and scratched the echidna in the face with his icy claws that formed on his gloves. "Everything!" Dark Frost screamed. Now fear has settled into Knuckles. I never seen Knuckles so frightened. "You don't ever say those things about his family. How can you be so cold to him when he sacrificed everything for you? You stupid echidna! Echidna!" Just as Frost brought out a sword formed from ice, I had sped up to him and grabbed him by the wrist. He turned to me when he saw me with serious eyes, yet with tears falling from them. He seemed to have gotten the message, as his color returned to normal, and his eyes had come back. He was still angry at Knuckles. "I hope you never find any love," he snarled at him. Quickly, before he snaps again, I took his wrist and quickly sped away from there as Frost held on to me. Honestly, the last thing I want than my own friend turning his back on me is my adoptive brother going into angry mode. The last time that happened with Eggman, he broke all his fingers, so that's basically why he didn't fight for months one time. Frost's point of view. After I had calmed down, I found myself and Sonic in the center of the town. I didn't care. I almost went into my dark form. Nobody says horrible things about my brother. Sonic walked over to me with a cup of cold soda. I took it and began to gulp down the freezing yet cool drink to help ease down my anger. He watched me gulp it down as tears started forming in his eyes again. I stopped drinking and looked at him. I held out my free arm, and he walked over to me. He curled up to me and starts crying silently. As angry as I am getting, I kept myself under control. As I finished drinking my soda, Sonic had stopped crying. "You feeling better, big bro?" he asked. I looked down and smiled gently. I nodded yes, and he sat up so I can get up. Suddenly, we saw a familiar figure walking to the town. We realized who that is, so quickly I snatched Sonic and quickly we hid it in a giant box that was by some garbage cans. I know it was stupid, but hey, it was the only place I found. We listened very carefully. She was looking for Sonic. "Yep, I know who I'm talking about. Amy Rose. God, I hate her." "Where is my Sonic-Coo?" I heard her voice. My ears went down in hate as well as Sonic's. "He's gonna be mine eventually, whether he likes it or not." Hearing that made my anger bubble like a brewing potion, as well as Sonic. I never liked Amy ever since Sonic told me about her. When will that stupid fangirl realize he doesn't love her? "Besides, it's not every day that my boyfriend, the greatest hero in the world, spends time with me. It makes me feel so popular. I bet all the other girls are so jealous." That does it. I stood up and came out of my hiding place. I walked over to her as a scowl formed on her face. "What do you want, Blue Boy?" I didn't answer. Instead, I just glared down at her. My glare has always scared her. "Why don't you just take your ugly desires and get out, Rose?" I asked darkly. "My brother will never be yours. You're just a filthy, sick brat who wants nothing but popularity." With that, I walked back to Sonic, who also has an angry expression. I took his hand and said under my breath before I walked away, dragging my brother with me. "You can find yourself another hero world, because he's no longer your hero." Sonic seemed to have agreed to me. as he held onto my hand and once again used his speed to make a fast run, while I held on to him. But as we ran, we heard a scream nearby. We know Sonic won't be a hero again, but of course instincts told him to go help. We ran and ran until we reached the area. A girl was hanging onto a branch for dear life while hovering above a waterfall. She had dark purple and puffy hair with 2 blue beads at the bottom, making it look like puffs. Her skin was a bubblegum pink, and her eyes were a raspberry pink. She was wearing a pinkish red dress with purple socks with purple and blue socks and pink high heels. Without wasting any time, Sonic grabbed a vine and formed a lasso out of it. We tied it to a tree and rushed back over, just in time to see the branch break. The girl screamed, but quickly we threw the lasso at her, and she was caught just in time. She looked up and saw us pulling her up to safety. When she was safe, she looked at us and smiled. "Thank you," she said kindly. We both nodded when Sonic noticed what he has in his hand. It was a chained necklace with a purple frosted cupcake with a green wrapper, a red cherry, and yellow sprinkles. When he gave it to the girl, we felt as if someone is watching us. We turned around to find nothing. "Help us, Guardians." We turned to find the girl and the necklace gone. We looked at each other and nodded. "Let's find the other 2. With that, we had walked away and started making our way somewhere. We promised each other we will never go back there. Instead, we'll find a different place that we belong. Well, that was chapter 3. I hope you guys like it. This is a disclaimer. I don't own Sonic the Hedgehog and Friends. They belong to Sega. Sega, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'll just go with Sega. Anyways, and Frost belongs to Nathaniel Knox Frost 207 or Mystic Ice. I can't remember his Wattpad account. Oh well. But we'll just stick with Nathaniel Knox Frost 207. That's who Frost belongs to. Anyways, I will read chapter 4 to you guys in another time. Goodbye, my lovely roses.